Hello and welcome to my 4th devlog about the game I call Down Down Die. I got a new character now. Why? Why the f not? So I made a lot of enemies in the last week. 5 in 5 days to be specific. Wanna see them? Then stick with me, because I'll show you. By the way, if you liked the video or my game, then please subscribe to my channel, I'd feel very honored. So let's start with my favorite enemy of the bunch, which is this little goblin here. There was no real inspiration or something, I just drew him once in school. In fact, I draw everything what I need in school, because at home I only do coding. As usual, I use Procreate and some polishing in Unity for the animations. And voila, here we have some beautiful animations. Movement was also pretty straightforward. I already covered in Devlog 2.5 a way to solve pathfinding for platformer enemies that don't fly, so I just used the pre-made component and movement was done. Now behavior. Basically, goblins have a priority list, which is when they don't see anything cool, they'll just wander around randomly and search for something. When they see the player, they'll attack them with their little dagger. And when they see a gem, they'll run towards it and put it into their little backpack. An animator and goblin manager script later, the goblin was nearly done. The last thing that was missing was a death effect. So I just made it so that if they die, they lose their head, literally, and drop all their gems they have stolen over their short and miserable lifespan. So I basically created a little annoying something that is really fast, greedy and aggressive, just like golems should be. Moving on. The second and third enemy was highly inspired by my desktop decoration. I'm speaking of this little Minecraft slime toy that I've got from my last Christmas calendar. So maybe, if you have already guessed it, the second and third enemies were slimes. A small and big one.
Oh, look at the little baby. And now look at the big baby. Wow.
Because what is a roguelike dungeon crawler without slimes? The small slime was really easy to draw. Just some semi-transparent layers of yellow, a thick outline and no frame-by-frame animation. Since it is a slime and the only thing you have to make it do is squish and squash. So back in Unity I made some simple yet cool looking animations and reused the movement controller covered in Devlog 2.5. So that it'll jump at all time, which didn't really work in the beginning, but eventually I got it working. And as an attack, I figured a simple jump on the player's head is quite fitting, cause it is jumping anyways. And then after some party kills, he was all done. On Wednesday it was no time for the small slime, the giant slime. Drawing it also wasn't really a hard task, it was basically the same process, and also for the animations. The slime is much bigger than the smaller one, in fact it is currently the biggest enemy in my game. Its behavior was basically the same, it also jumps to attack, however it'll not traverse the room like the small slime, since it doesn't want to jump so often. So it'll give its best staying on one height. Nevertheless, he deals much more damage and even shakes the camera when he lands. In addition, he releases slime bolts when he jumps and lands, that deal a little amount of damage to the player. Later on, I made it so that if he dies, he will release 3 to 4 small slimes, just like in Minecraft. Now we have it, a slime. Yay! Okay, the fourth enemy was a maggot. Why? Because I like the binding of Isaac, and they have a whole bunch of them. This enemy is pretty basic. It has only one animation cycle, which is moving, so visual-wise it wasn't really hard. And its attack is also very simple. It just does a flip and jumps on the player and deals some damage on impact. I think this enemy is the most nasty one, mainly because of its death effect. If it dies, it gets cut in half and floods the whole ground with its weirdly green blood. As you can see, this one was pretty basic. The very last enemy that I've made is this thing here. I call it the Spike Boy. It looks like some sort of shellfish. However, it has venomous spikes on the top of its back, which, who guessed it, deals damage and poison effect to the player if he steps on it. I actually like the animations on this one quite a lot. I mean, look at it. So, that's all about the enemies that I made. Of course, I also did some other stuff, but this was rather boring, so I'll leave that out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If that's the case, then please subscribe, because it'll probably improve your general situation in life. Thank you for watching so far. Bye bye!